Welcome everybody to part 56 of Majora's Mask, the final part of this entire playthrough. As we can see here, Link's gathered boss remains scattered throughout the room into these four corners for some reason. And right now, as you saw in my last video, I fought Majora with the Fierce Deity mask, and I pretty much beat him easily. Now we're going to do it the fair and square way. So yeah. Now, Majora is weak behind its mask. The front part of its mask is pretty much invulnerable to all forms of attack. And the reason it's weak behind the mask, because I believe it's those tentacle thingies right there. I don't know why it's sprout tentacle things, or is that like meat tendons? I don't know. Well, anyway, Majora will attack you by trying to spin towards you, because of course on its side there are spikes, and when spinning around it will try and cause some damage. So yeah, one way to stun Majora is use your Zora form and the Zora boomerangs to stun him, and then quickly get out your sword, or use the fairy sword, and do it quickly because Majora can recover. And after you damage Majora the first time, the boss remains will come to life and they will start attacking you. And you want to get rid of the boss remains quickly, because what they'll do is they will shoot these white bolts at you, and you don't need the distraction. Because right now Majora adds a new attack to its repertoire. It will shoot a constant laser beam at you, and pretty much what you can do is you can use your mirror shield to reflect said laser beam back at Majora to get it to stop, like right here. And also, you can also use the Majora laser beam to reflect at the boss remains to destroy them once and for all. Or you can use the light arrows, shoot 2 light arrows to destroy the mask once and for all. But regardless of how you do it, just get rid of the boss remains as soon as possible, because they can be really annoying. And I just gotta say, I love this boss music right here. It's like kind of it's like a remix of the main Majora theme. So yeah. Anyway, that takes care of the boss remains. So of course, watch where you are in relation to Majora, because again, it'll shoot lasers at you. Let's make sure overall this part of the boss isn't too bad. You just gotta keep an eye on where Majora is, attack when you can, and you should take this form down no problem. Alright, after you deal enough damage to Majora's Mask, it will begin to transform. It'll sprout legs, arms, and a one-eyed head. And this is Majora's incarnation. Yeah. So basically the mask is now a body. And folks, I'm going to let you know right now, this is the weirdest form of Majora. In fact, this is the weirdest boss I've ever fought. Seriously. Majora is now all running around, all crazy-like, and it pretty much will stop for a moment to shoot these white bolts at you, and it will dance around like crazy. I mean, look, it's doing the moonwalk right now. But of course, it makes sense that we're on the moon, and he would do the moonwalk. And he's doing the Russian dance thingy too, so yeah. Billie Jean, back my lover. Sorry, folks. And he's a ballerina too. Yeah, this is the goofiest fight yet. And even the music is goofy because, I mean, look how, it's not real threatening, but yeah. And if you listen real closely, the guy sounds like a chicken. It's like clucking like a chicken. Like, But regardless, we still have to kill this guy. So yeah, try to... Yeah, this guy, despite being all crazy and insane, he moves fast, so any shot you can try and get, do it while he's slowed down, and it's pretty much the luck of the draw, really. Just wait till he's like right here to taunt you like this, or when he tries to shoot those white bolts. So yeah. I wonder who designed this boss. I mean, yeah. In this weird Technicolor battlefield. Huh. I got nothing at this point except just watch where you're going. Alright. When we finally do enough damage to Majora's Incarnation, it'll start to bulk up. Get all more muscular, and it will sprout a new head. And folks, this is Majora's Wrath. Majora's Wrath will now have whips for arms, and which makes it a little more dangerous. So yeah. And as you can tell, it's like a little more insane at this point. So yeah. What you want to do is, to beat this guy, you want to use Zora's barrier to stun it. Because, well, for me, it's the best way to stun this guy, because as you can see here, he'll whip and whip and whip. He'll grab you by the whips. Basically, those whips do a good amount of damage, so yeah. So I would have Zora's form on hand at all times during this boss fight. I mean, you can use light arrows or anything, but still, I want to get this guy beaten as soon as possible. So yeah, once you've stun him, just whip out the Great Fairy Sword and go for it. And you can see here, it can also twirl around using the whips. So yeah. Now, of course, if you had the Fierce Deity Mask on hand, this guy would be beaten in pretty much under a minute. But of course, if people want a challenge, well, here's the challenge, folks. Here's how much a little more difficult you can get. I mean, I've seen videos on YouTube of people beating this guy with barely taking any damage, but hey, I played the safe route. I used the Fierce Deity Mask. I know that would be considered cheating, but hey, the programmers put it in the game, so yeah. Alright. Now, of course, it would be helpful if you would actually Z-target Majora, because, well, you won't be going anywhere as long as, you won't be going anywhere, so yeah, as long as you just stand still. As long as you Z-target him, you can move and you can shock him, no problem. Alright. Now, eventually, Majora will add a new attack. It'll drop these spinning blade things, and these spinning blade things will try to attack you, try to run into you, and try to hurt you. But if you just keep a distance, they'll eventually explode, and, well, they won't do any damage. So yeah, this is the boss fight in a nutshell. It's not really that hard, you just gotta know what to do at times. Just make sure you have plenty of healing items, and you should do fine. See, there's those spinning things right there. But again, I'm about to defeat Majora, so they won't pose much of a threat. And yeah, that's it. That's the boss fight. We're done. Yay! And of course, the place is breaking up, and there's Majora disintegrating. Wow. And of course, here we have the moon, and then the moon is disintegrating as well. What? The moon is going away, and it gets turned into a rainbow. How's that happened? So, does that mean Termina no longer has a moon at all? Well, regardless, people are celebrating that there's no more moons. Yeah. So what does that mean for the ecosystem? But hey, well, as long as the problem is solved, I mean, no more moon crashing to the planets, I guess they'll be okay, or something. Ah, dawn of a new day. Yes, right. That's right, folks. We did it. It's over. And of course, Link wakes up back in the field. His trusty horse Epona is right there with him. And there's the Skull Kid. And then, of course, he's looking at the 4 giants right there. Alright, folks. If you remember Anju's grandmother's story about how the 4 giants and the imp friend, well, it's implied here that these are the same 4 giants as in the story, and that the Skull Kid is actually the imp that pretty much had caused mischief and lost them as friends. So, yeah, and when they say they ascended, when the imp ascend to the heavens, how does that happen? Because we saw him in Hyrule. How does that work? I don't get it. Well, anyway, the giants, their task complete. They go back to the 4 corners of the realm to, I don't know, hang out or party or something. Ah, yeah. Well, alright. And of course, the Skull Kid will take notice to Link. And, of course, he'll be grateful. He wants to be friends with Link. And, of course, he's happy that the giants haven't forgotten about him, too. And, yeah, friends are a nice thing. Okay. Well, we can be friends. Wait. What? What? Yes, folks. This is the exact same Skull Kid that we've encountered in Ocarina of Time. The one we had to play Saria's song for him. And by proof of playing Saria's song, we're friends with Saria, and he gave us a heart piece. Huh? That is so bizarre that this guy would eventually become a mastermind to evil. Oh, and also by the same note, we sold him a skull mask so that he'd be scary, and the guy pretty much ripped us off. I mean, we gave him the mask, and he only gives us half price for it. Yeah, this Joker owes me money. He owes me 10 freaking rupees. Because, yeah, this is all part of that whole Happy Mask Salesman game that I had to do while I was Kid Link, so, yeah. Well, speaking of the Happy Mask Salesman, somehow he has gotten a hold of Majora's Mask, which has lost its evil, wicked powers. And if you look closely at his backpack, he has a Mario mask. So this is odd. So yeah, it's implied that this guy is actually the same guy from Hyrule in Ocarina of Time, the same Happy Mask Salesman. So yeah, now that he's got what he wants, he is now leaving. And of course, well, he wants us to go back to where we came from too, so yeah. Because Link doesn't really belong in this land, he belongs in Hyrule. So yeah. Of course, while he takes off though, he imparts this one final message here. He says that we've made quite a number of people happy thanks to all the masks and stuff that we've done throughout this game. And that's going to be important in a moment. And then, of course, he walks away and oh my god, he just disappeared. How's that happen? Is he a sorcerer or something? Ah! Well, anyway, here, now that everything's all good and stuff, Tattle says, well, well, he pretty much tells Link to beat it, get lost, and all that stuff. Because, yeah. Because Link's going to go back to Hyrule to finish what he was doing. And the two fairies and the Skull Kid are going to enjoy the carnival. That doesn't seem fair, does it? Because Link worked through who knows how many cycles to get to this point. At the very least, maybe he should at least... I mean, he doesn't have to stay the whole time, but at least stay for part of the carnival. At least let him relax a little bit. So, yay, the carnival pretty much begins. And then we are treated to the end credits. Yay. We did it. That's the game. Alright, folks. Now, the end credits are, well, for the most part, remain the same. But there are... But, if you were unable to get all of the masks or help everybody from the bomber's notebook, then it will change. Now, I'll explain that in a moment. First, I want to explain this right here. Now, the Indigo-Gos are performing at the carnival. But you see here, there is Zora Link in the group. Now, this is a major plot hole, glitch, or whatever, because right now, Link is heading back to Hyrule. I mean, you see him riding Epona back into town. That's because he has to go through that clock tower to get through, to go back to Hyrule, to get through that warp, or whatever. Just ignore it. So, yeah. Now, to get back to the ending here, folks, what happens is that, if you've helped everybody, I mean, if you helped everybody, like, that resulted in you getting a bomber notebook entry completed, or getting a certain type of mask, then you would actually get to see a small scene for their ending. Because, well... yeah, we've helped them out because for some reason or another, all the cycles that we've been through as Link somehow get merged together for some other reason. I don't know why. I'm not going to try and figure it out because throughout this credit sequence, you will see the results of Link's endeavors. So, yeah. I mean, we just saw Longnose and Bulldog arguing with the king singing Elegy of Emptiness. We see here the Deku and the monkeys are at peace. And where's the Deku Butler? Where is he? Shouldn't he be among this group shot right here? Anyway, there's the running man running in the field. Like his Ocarina of Time counterpart because, yeah, we helped him and we got the postman hat out of it, so yeah. And there are the Rosa sisters doing the dance that we taught them using Kamaro's mask. Now again, these endings would not be possible if we did not get said item or help said individual. They would just be a black screen or a mask or something. The reason that I don't know is because I always get all the masks every time I play this game, so yeah. And say goodbye to this design, folks, because it's the last time we'll see the Great Fairy like this. Thank goodness. And then here we have Krima and Romani pretty much doing this thing, like Krima's applauding Romani on her improved archery skills. Oh, and since Krima and Romani are essentially Malin, they pretty much have the Bowser slide for their neckerchiefs. So, yeah. There's the bomber guy and his mother. So, yeah. And there's the guy, the Kojo, and surrounded by his adult cuckoos. So, yeah. Alright, there's the Indigo-Gos playing. Notice there's no Zora Link now. And there is a good old Gorman pretty much getting all emotional over the band. Because this is what he wanted to, from the start. He wanted to get to meet these guys. And then, of course, there's the Ironsmith who created our Gilded Sword. And there's Guru pretty much performing for the chickens, I believe. Alright, and here at Stone Tower we get this nice little scene between Pamela and her father, going like, yay, and all that stuff. Goody. Oh, and this big moment. This is the moment everybody's been waiting for. It is the wedding of Anju and Cafe. See, there's Anju all nice and pretty and stuff. Now, this point of view we're seeing right now is, I'm thinking it's from Cafe's point of view, because as you can see here, it's like you're grabbing her hand and stuff. And the folks, we don't get to see the adult Cafe, so it's kind of a missed opportunity here. So yeah, even Tingle's in on the action. He pretty much spraying confetti everywhere because it's all happy, it's all glorious. Everybody gets a nice old happy ending. Yeah, it's pretty much a nice old happy time for everyone. Almost. As you can see here, there is the Deku Butler, and he's kneeling next to that tree we encountered earlier in the beginning of the game. And folks, that's the Deku Butler's son. Yes, we have met his son early in the beginning, and Skull Kid pretty much killed him in order to fuel the curse for Deku Link. So yeah, he died to make Link suffer. And we're now back to where Link started at the beginning of this game. So we've come full circle. It's a bookend. And does Link ever fulfill his original quest? Well, we don't know. We do not know. There was never a follow-up to this. And then, of course, at the end, we get a close-up of this tree trunk that has a drawing of Link, Skull Kid, the fairies, and the 4 giants. And I'm going to let you listen at this little snippet right here. So that's Majora's Mask, everybody. It's a pretty much a unique game in the Zelda series. I mean, I like the concept with the whole masks. You put them on, you change form into different species that have different abilities. I like that. There's that whole 3-day system where you're just limited to 3 days, and I mean, I thought it was a nice change of pace every once in a while, because like in past Zelda games, you're pretty much free to move around, do whatever you want in between dungeons and quests and stuff. And I mean, it's nice for a little change of pace, but I do not want it in every Zelda game. So yeah. Also, the graphics, they're pretty much a refined version of the Ocarina of Time graphics, and yeah. And of course, they reused all the models, or many of the models, for many of the people. But at the same time, it's a parallel universe. They're given parallel lives to their Ocarina of Time counterparts. I mean, and we get to know these characters through the Bomber's Notebook and through this 3-day cycle. We get to know how they think and how Link's interactions with these people can change their outcome. And like the Happy Mask Salesman said, we made people happy through our actions. So yeah. And yeah, and Link here is once again voiced by Fujiko Takamoto, but it's not really it's not like she came back to voice Link again, because well, they pretty much took all the sound bits from Ocarina of Time's Link and applied it to this one, because this is the same Link from Ocarina of Time. Also, this game, Majora's Mask, it takes place in the timeline known as the Child Timeline. Now, if you folks don't know what I'm talking about, in Ocarina of Time, at some point, the timeline gets split into different branches. And then what happened was Princess Zelda, at the end of Ocarina of Time, sent the adult Link back to his childhood. And when she sent Link back to his childhood, she pretty much created a new timeline from which Link can experience his childhood from without fear of Ganondorf taking over, and pretty much that's what happened. Ganondorf did not take over Hyrule in that timeline. So yeah, this is pretty much the timeline that we're following in this game, the child timeline. And when you think about it, folks, if the Majora's Mask pretty much happened in the other timelines, then that would mean that Majora at some point would have actually succeeded in destroying Termina, because actually when you get the game over screen, when the moon actually collided into Termina, Majora's Mask actually survives. So yeah, think about it, folks. This is the only timeline where Link has managed to prevent Majora from destroying the Termina. So yeah. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed my playthrough of Majora's Mask. Sorry it was a bit long, but hey, this game is full of replayability, and I like to go back to it every now and then. So yeah. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a bonus video to show you some of the things that I was unable to put into this playthrough. Some of the masks that I was not able to use this time around. Some little tidbits and some other scenes that I was unable to put in this playthrough. So yeah, and otherwise, folks, I'm going to go ahead and move on to my next LP, which is, well, I'm not going to say at this point, but yeah. Well, folks, this is Mega Beatman saying sayonara, and see ya.